So welcome back once again. So today we are going to be talking about understanding pattern making in tailoring. Pattern making is essential to a good tailoring. Now, what do I mean by a pattern? Now, pattern making is simply the lines, symbols, notations printed on patterns that guides you on how to cut, sew, assemble pieces together correctly when making a garment. Now, in a simple term, pattern making means the lines that will help you to know where to place your fabric on fold, where to sew or stop, where to insert zipper, button or dart, or even hem of a fabric, and also how to match different pieces of fabrics together. I will explain. Now, this pattern making, why is it important? Without pattern making, a sewing pattern will just be a piece of shape or paper that you just draft out. So this pattern making will help you. It provides an essential instruction that will help you correctly to construct a garment perfectly. Now, there are different types of pattern making. Example of pattern making is cutting lines. These are the lines that will help you to know where to cut a material. For example, if this is a shape of a fabric, this is a shape of a fabric. Now, you want to cut a skirt. You now measure from here to this place is the waist. From here to this place is the hip. From here to this place is the knee length. And from here to this place is the hemline. Now we measure from here to this place is the hip line. From here to this place is the knee measurement, and this is the hemline. You simply connect it this way. This is a pattern for a skirt. So when you want to cut, you will not cut. So like I was explaining, this is already the measurement, the pattern of a skirt. Now this is the main measurement. From here to here the waist, from here to here the hip, and from here to here the knee length. Now you have to add the seam allowance, which is 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, and 1 inch here. So you have to connect it together this way. You see it? That is a skirt pattern. Now the cutting lines is this last line that I added, which is the seam allowance. This is where we cut. This is called the cutting lines. Now the second one, which will bring us to fold lines. Now this is the fold line. When you look at this pattern, you will notice that it is just a single line. When you cut it with your pattern material, if you want to place it on a fabric, this place must be on fold. Must be on fold. So this is the fold line. Now for the notches line, you get that measurement. For example, the dart is 4 inches. Let's say from here to here is 4 inches. You mark. Now this place, you're not going to cut it just the way you cut here. You only notch with your scissors. So this is notch line. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Now we are going to actualize this with a pattern paper later. Now for the dart, this is already the dart. Where you put that notch is the dart. Now you have to measure the dart from here to this place, 5 inches. 5 inches. Depending on what you are sewing. Sometimes it might be 4 inches. Sometimes it might be 4.5 or 5 inches. Now this is it for a skirt pattern. We also have other pattern making like button or buttonhole, placement lines, seam allowance, which is this. You may or may not understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm going to put that in practice shortly. I'm going to use a pattern paper to cut or to draft out skirt pattern. And while I'm drafting it, I'm going to use these terminologies so that you understand very well. Now to explain what I actually meant on the board, I'm going to use this pattern paper to explain it very well. Now to get a skirt pattern, the first thing I'll have to do is to get the hip line. The hip line is from the shoulder to the hip line is 8 inches. Some people, for an average person, but for those who are tall, you can use 8.5 or 9 inches. or better still, you can measure it on the person's body. Now the next thing I'll do is to get the knee length. Now for an average person, the knee length for a skirt is 17 inches. It could be 18, it could be 19, it could be 20. So for a better measurement, you can measure the person on her body so that you get the accurate measurement. Then for the skirt, I'm using 23 inches for the skirt. So I'm going to connect all these lines together. See, this is the hip line, this is the knee line, and this is the full length of the skirt. Now I'm going with the measurement of waist 30, hip 39 and half, and the length of the skirt is 23. So the first thing I will do is to get the waist measurements. Now just take note, this place is not on fold, but while I'm cutting it in the material, I'm going to fold the fabric on fold this way. This place must be on fold. This place is going to serve as the front of the skirt. Please take note. So from this place, I'm going to measure the waistline. Waist is 30 and half. 30 and half divided by 4 is 7.625. You may wonder why I'm dividing by 4. I'm dividing by 4 because this is going to be on fold. Do you understand? And I'm still going to use this to cut out the back, which is also going to be on fold, making it 4 pieces. So that is why I'm measuring by 4 inches. By 4, dividing it by 4, dividing the measurement by 4, sorry. Alright, so 30 and half divided by 4 will give me 4.625. Now there's nothing like 7.625. There's nothing like 7.625 on this tape. So we'll divide it, we'll now approximate it to 7.6. 7.6. Now this is 7.5. If you can see it very well. This is 7. This is 7.5. And the next line will be 7.6. So that is what I'm going to measure. 7.6. Alright, so I'll come to the hip line. Hip divided by 4 will give me 9.875. Hip is 39 and half divided by 4 is 9.8. So I'm going to approximate it to 9.8. So using the method I used in the first measurement, 9.8 will be here. 9.8. Okay. 9.8. Then I will mark it. Now on the knee length, what I have here is 9.8 and the measurement is 39 and half. To get the knee measurement, you have to remove minus 2 inches or 2.5 inches from your hip measurement. Now 39 and half minus 2.5 inches will give me 37. So that is what I'm going to measure on the knee length. Now 37 divided by 4. 37 divided by 4 will give me 9.25. So I'll mark. Now whatever I have here, whatever I have on this knee length, I'll bring it down here. You see it? So I'm going to connect all these points together. So this is the skirt pattern. Remember, I did not add that to this place, so I'm going to add that allowance and the sewing allowance. Now the dart is 1 inch and the sewing allowance, I'm going to do it 1.5 inches. So I'm going to also add 1.5 inch all the way down. I've gone ahead to connect the points together. Now if you notice, this place, the allowance I put on the waist is bigger than the allowance I put in the other part. The reason is because the waist is going to have a dart. Now to get the dart measurement from the beginning of the pattern paper where I told you that it's going to be unfold, I will measure 4 inches. Now 4 inches, I'll come down by 5 inches and I'll connect it together like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark ½ inch on both sides, ½ inch on both sides, and I'm going to connect it this way. This it. So this place now, if you measure it, it is exactly 1 inch that I added here. So if you remove this 1 inch, it will have the same seam allowance with the waist, the knee, and the hemline. So I'm going to cut it out. So this is the pattern. I've already gone ahead to cut it out. Hope you understand. Now this is the cutting line I just explained. This is the cutting line. You don't cut here. This is where you sew on your fabric. This is called the sewing line. And from here to here is the seam allowance, while this is the dart. Now for that notching, when it comes to your fabric, you notch this place. Place your fabric this way and notch. This is what is called notching. While this place is going to be unfold, the front part is going to be unfold. This is the side, this is the front. Hope you understand. Now let's go back to our board. Now let us assume that I'm going to cut this out this way. I've cut it out. Did you see? This is how our pattern is supposed to look like. So please try to practice this at home. And if you have any question, please drop your question in the comment section and I'm going to address it. So at this point, I would like you to subscribe to my channel if this was helpful, and also give it a thumbs up so that YouTube will continue to push my video to those who actually need them. And also drop a comment in the comment section and stay tuned for more, because I'm going to be dropping videos like this and even more. And if you have a style that you want to recreate, you can also drop the style in the comment section and I'm going to recreate that. Thanks for watching.